Hey guys, so I thought making videos would be kind of a fun way to keep all of Mark's and my family and friends involved in our lives and kind of what's going on with us. So this video, I kind of wanted to talk about my health issues and what's going on with me. I have what's called Undifferentiated Connective Tissue Disease, which Mark and I usually refer to as UCTD, which means I have the evidence of an existing condition, but there's not enough, it doesn't meet the criteria for any specific autoimmune disease. So there's different autoimmune diseases. There's rheumatoid arthritis, there's lupus, there's scleroderma, and there's Sjogren's. So I have the symptoms of these autoimmune diseases, but I don't meet the criteria to fall under one specific one. So I'm kind of in this weird in-between category where I have the symptoms of an autoimmune disease, but I don't have the title of which one. So for me, in 2016, I was originally diagnosed with lupus, and then we did the blood work a couple months later, and it came back negative for lupus. And that's why it's so complicated, because you could have it one time, and then you get blood work and it comes back where you don't have it. So it's very frustrating, and it's hard sometimes. And so originally they put me on hydroxychloroquine and naproxen, and I've been on that since 2016. I was on that, and I was on it when I lived in San Diego, and everything was good. And then moving to Monterey, my new doctor had changed my medication and halved it, and that had really messed me up. So my biggest symptom is extreme fatigue. Like, that one really affects me, and the joint pain in my knees. And so moving here and having her change my medication all of a sudden really hurt me, because my fatigue came back really bad to where I was tired all the time. And then also I couldn't get off the couch. Like, I was in pain all the time. It hurt to move. So just the first month of being in Monterey, I became very depressed, and I actually ended up gaining like 10 pounds, which was very hard for me. So I ended up having to call my doctor back and tell her that I'm going to be going back to what I know. And after that, things kind of got a little better. And then one thing that really affected me was a couple months later, I started throwing up. It was anything and everything. Originally, it was for 3 weeks. Didn't know what it was. I took a pregnancy test. My doctor put in new blood work for me to see what's going on, and everything was fine. Everything was normal. We had no idea what it was. I saw a gastroenterologist, and they didn't know what it was. And so I was frustrated, because at that point I felt terrible, but we had no idea why I felt terrible. So that was for the first 3 weeks. Then things got a little better. And then a couple months later, I got sick again for 2 weeks. And in the meantime, little things made me sick, but it wasn't to the extent that it was. So got another referral to a gastroenterologist, did another pregnancy test, nothing still. And then fast forward to March of 2020 this year, I ended up getting an endoscopy because I started throwing up again, and we were kind of frustrated with not having answers. So finally, they did the endoscopy. Come to find out, the anti-inflammatories that I was on had caused erosions in my stomach, and that's what caused the throwing up. So I immediately, after the endoscopy, stopped that medication. So I was on naproxen, stopped that, and within the week, I hadn't thrown up anymore. And so that was really nice to finally have that figured out. So now I take hydroxychloroquine and Tylenol, which is it's made a huge difference. Like, with the pain, it's a little different, but for the throwing up, like, I haven't really thrown up since March, which has been very nice. And so my biggest symptoms that I deal with and that kind of affect me, so I have extreme fatigue, meaning that I can sleep around 8 hours and still wake up tired or have to take a nap during the day and just never feel well rested. I have really bad pain in my knees and sometimes in my arch, depending on, but that's mainly where the pain is my knees. And I do need to start taking physical therapy for it, but I need to work with my doctor on when I can start that. Let's see, I also get sores in my mouth, and I get what's called Geographic Tongue, where the top layer of my tongue is kind of raw. So it's kind of like where you eat too much acidic foods where it kind of, your tongue goes raw. So I get that a lot. That's kind of one of the first symptoms that comes up if I'm having a flare-up. And then also I've started getting these sores on my head where it feels like I have like cuts on my scalp, and then Mark will go and check it and there's nothing there. So that kind of drives me a little crazy. And one of the biggest things that has started me getting diagnosed was we thought I had arthritis, because with my fingers, my knuckles were all purple and swollen, and anything that touched it really hurt. And I also noticed that usually you can connect your thumb and your pinky and you can extend your fingers like this. So my left hand is fine. My right hand, I can't touch my thumb to my pinky and straighten my fingers. Like, it's hard for me. And so doing cakes or drawing or writing for like more than 5 or 10 minutes at a time really starts to hurt my hand. So that has also really affected things and kind of makes doing cakes hard sometimes, or drawing, or just even writing things down. I can only do it for like a couple minutes at a time. So those are my biggest things, and right now everything kind of has leveled out. Like if I stress or if there's a lot going on in life and I'm overwhelmed, by the time, you know, the next week comes around, my symptoms start to get worse and I can feel it, or I get sick easily. So things, you know, luckily I'm not working right now because of COVID. Like, I still have my job, but I'm on like a specific leave so that I'm safe right now and I can't get sick. So that's nice. But that's kind of everything with my health issues. Things have definitely normaled out. You know, the pain is still there, the fatigue is still there, but it's not as bad as it was. So that's kind of right now what we're dealing with, and I do feel good. You know, I can be better, but we're working towards that. Mark is definitely a big help with how I feel. You know, he definitely, when I'm not having a good day, he definitely steps in a lot. So I'm very thankful to have him on my side with my health issues. So I just wanted to let everyone know what's going on, and I will make another video soon. Thanks, guys.